they call women.
Are we going to go there? Are you ready for that?
The fact that they call us women, womb men, yeah, it's like a reminder in that term that you carry a womb and you reproduce.
So today we're going to basically be looking at women's choice to a child-free life. I think this could be quite a controversial topic because I think convention dictates that if one has a womb, then a child is expected, really. There should be, it's not very many women that are choosing a child-free life, but we'll see as the conversation goes on later why that is. And in the studio today, joining me is Muvezi. Muvezi, it's really, really nice to have you.
It's a pleasure being here.
How hot is it in here?
Well, we are counting down on our oxygen, first of all, so...
We'll be fainting anytime soon? Mm-hmm. Okay, but until then, tell me about yourself. It sucks as a question, but...
Yeah, well, I'm a writer and a feminist.
I love feminists. I'm a feminist myself.
Same.
So it's just love in the studio, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so today as a feminist and as a woman, I wouldn't want to ask you in what capacity you will be arguing for a child-free life for a woman, because I don't think it matters. Feminist view, a woman's view. I think this is what we want to hear today to discuss. The word child-free, do you think, terminology is so important in how we phrase things that are not per convention, what would you say child-free caters to that kind of choice for a woman, the term child-free?
It means women who have chosen voluntarily to not reproduce, or not to have children under their care or patronage. That's what I would say being child-free is. So
would you say that's basically the same as voluntary childlessness?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. If you hear the term, would you say child-free or voluntary childlessness is still the same as being childless?
No, it's not, because you can be childless involuntarily because of different issues. Either you have been excluded from the mating politics, or nature, infertility, or on your spouse's side, or on your side. It could be because of disease or anything like that, but that's involuntary childlessness. Yeah. But there is voluntary childlessness, which is you select you choose a stance on children, and yours is I do not want to have children, and therefore I'll not have children, and you live your life that way.
Although I
prefer the word. For me, I prefer the term child-free actually to childlessness, because childlessness, maybe for those who want it to carry a kind of like malady connotation, childlessness sounds like something is missing. I feel like it's, what is it? The term eludes me, but it carries a negative connotation especially when it's voluntary. Like being child-free. I'm free of children, freedom.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Okay. What does, if you were to envision a child-free life for a woman, what would that look like to you?
There is someone who once told me, one of the people who advocates for the choice to have children, to not have children, being on the table. They said, I don't want to live like a condemned person. And for me, that is the best way I can describe a child-free life, which is a life where you have removed one more binding duty that is quite serious, because I take children as a serious responsibility that needs to be, that path needs to be chosen while someone is sober, with as much sobriety and as much deliberateness as one would choose anything else that is important in their lives. So to choose to be child-free, I see it as knowing that, first of all, you have options. The option to have some more control in your life. It could be economic control. It could be control over your health. It could be control of like your mental health. Like if you are not one of those people who wants to carry on mental responsibility of someone until they are 18 years, and the truth is that it goes beyond that, then you would have chosen well to be child-free. If you are economically not in a place where you want to have always an economic burden of someone, or if you look at having children as an economic burden, and it is an economic burden, then you would have chosen economic freedom to be child-free.
Would you say, so for example, I imagine that not many of us part of the top 10% when it comes to access to the world's wealth and resources. And yet, statistics already show that poorer people are actually more likely to choose to have more children. What do you think is the correlation between poverty or resources and the number of children one has, or even the choice to have children or not?
When you asked that question, I just remembered the meme that goes, correlation is not causation.
Yeah.
And I hope academics, I don't know that difference, but I hope academics on Twitter don't eat me. Anyway, I think that, first of all, poor people have less, first of all, they are more likely to be less exposed to options in life, including the option of being child-free,
right?
To know that I can be child-free. Most of them have society as, society is so important to them, and it dictates ideals like produce and fill the world are going to dictate a poor person's life, probably because they are beholden to society's expectations. So a woman who comes from like very low economic standards, or a man who comes from very low economic, like an economic class, is more likely to be beholden to their society, and so they will feel like they don't have any option other than to go along with culture or go along with a norm. I may have been vague, but I hope it's clear later.
No, it is very clear.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, of course, there is a case of access to things like contraceptives, or even knowledge about it. What to use, where is it, how much is it, the contraceptives. And then there is also the fact that poor people actually reproduce as a form of wealth. Like most of our parents, we who belong to the lower class or lower middle class, are having children to take care of them, to help them take care of their siblings, to help them take care of, to build, like, to increase generational wealth, you know. They have this thing of every child comes with their own luck. That is, of course, the thinking of poor people. It's a gamble. You know, you don't know what child is going to bring wealth, which child will be the window into better opportunities for your lineage. So they produce us so we can build houses for them, so that we can take care of them when they're without any insurance. We are their insurance. We are their retirement plan. We are their... God, I don't mean anything
it gets really
to my parents, but I mean, it's, they look at it that way. They look at it that way.
I think
their pension schemes, it's us.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I really appreciate about Weird Confessions Uganda is you get like sort of like all sorts of entries like coming in, right? But they kind of really paint a broad picture on how different kinds of people are like just interfacing with different issues in life that we might philosophize about, intellectualize, like just theorize about, but are actually real in like people's lives. And when you say parents actually use children as some sort of like insurance plan, I think we had an entry that was talking about, someone said they felt burdened by having to take care of their family and their siblings, and that they're so stressed out and they just have no way out, right? So you can imagine, I don't know where the parents are in the picture here. Maybe they're dead, maybe they're unable. But if they're unable to take care of these children, and one sibling has to take care of the other, so you can see how you know, and sometimes you'll see parents having more than one kid because they think this one will take care of the other.
Yeah.
You know, it's all, I mean, it's really disturbing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that societal norms also kind of like prevent women from thinking broadly.
Yeah.
You gave a very interesting I think statement when you say produce and feel the earth. It's a very religious Christian affiliated like statement.
Yeah.
And many of poor societies are actually the most religious, right? And
the sad thing, even marginalized or disempowered societies think that the higher their populations are, the better chances they stand at gaining power. For instance, in the elite arm of like Black consciousness or Black supremacy, there is a lot of they call women.
Are we going to go there? Are you ready for that?
The fact that they call us women, womb men, yeah, it's like a reminder in that term that you carry a womb and you reproduce.
So, thank you for bringing up the womb pen thing because it's really, really disturbing. So, my spiritual, I don't even call it spiritual. I don't know if I should call it a despiritualization journey.
Yeah.
I somehow branched off just a little to
the Hotep Island.
The Hotep Island.
We all walk through the Hotep corridor. It's not even an island, it's a corridor, a rite of passage.
Why is being Black so hard? Oh my God. So, the woman that I am, I was like, no, this is not the place for me at all. Yeah. I think, and I think it's not even just about Black radical ideas, like you said. It's basically many political ideas, and even just like the basics of nation building are apparently premised on reproduction and numbers, right? People are going to be quick. I think
even in Nazi Germany.
Yes, even in Nazi Germany, right? So. We just, the more the better. The more people, the better. They'll argue the economics of it and all that. But I think that should bring us to the first argument against a child-free choice for women. Most people will be like, look at Japan. They have very low birth rates and now their demographic pyramid is basically on top of, I don't know, on its head or something, and see where that's going to lead, what are they going to do, blah, 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 blah. And then there is us, right? There is us who are producing like nothing, like highest rabbits. Fertility rate, exactly, like rabbits. No, that's no insult to rabbits, right? I love rabbits. But so basically, what would you say is the argument against something like this? Why should women still be free to choose not to have kids, even when apparently nation building depends on it?
Well, first of all, I don't know everything, but I'm on my journey to knowing. What I think, first of all, is that children, when a nation has children who are produced, like whose bulk is produced from being without a plan, because if we say women are not free to, because of nation building, they must all produce, you're going to have a lot of people who are, first of all, producing when they don't want children. And it's not the number of children, I think, that matters, but the quality of the human beings that you have. For instance, I think that even though Japan's numbers are going down, and I'm not that, should I say this? That educated about global politics on that level, but I feel that Japan itself has developed its, for instance, technology or other institutions that can supplement a population. For instance, if it was war, because people use a lot of that. But do you know why Japanese won which war? Because there were so many and they started.
The Vietnamese.
No, you don't need that. You need one freaking nuclear bomb and it just, obliterates a whole crowd of people. It doesn't matter if it's like a whole continent.
Efficiency.
So in the end, that is it's a very, what is it called? Like, it's kind of backward logic to think that the number of humans is everything. That's one thing. Then I think I'll just insist that the quality of a population is better, and a population of children that is loved, wanted, planned for is so much better than a population of, children that is just churned out for later use in case, because most of it is likely to go to waste. It's like dogs' kids or dogs' puppies, Like
the ones that people are always throwing about. When you talk about planning, it brings me to why can't states just just invest more in like say artificial wombs or something and just get their hands off women's wombs? If you're a state and you're having a crisis in population, perhaps the answer isn't in trying to police women's wombs, right? Yeah. It's in what's the technological alternative here. And I think that there is nothing that would free a woman better than if her womb wasn't only for like if a woman wasn't a moving womb, I think we'd all breathe better. There is another, I think more commonly society points at whenever a woman is saying I don't want to have kids, or she's like 50, and like, are you even happy? Yeah. You're lying. Don't you regret it? All those questions. Yeah.
In fact, there is an automatic assumption. You don't have to say you are happy without children. People, I remember I was in a high school with a headmistress who was child-free. And every time, she was quite a principled woman who was... Okay, she traumatized me, but I also could see where she's coming from. The women who I think made their way through life by being principled, and so they can't undo that, and so they are kind of stern and stoic in everything that they do. But I couldn't fault her for much, but people would never stop saying that she is strict or tough or unyielding, or maybe is not smiling about things because she's childless. People assume you are miserable the moment they realize you don't have a child. They'll say, oh, sorry. You say, no, I don't have children. Like, don't worry, you'll get that, as if you're still like of nubile age.
No, what still they will ask, what's wrong?
Yeah, what is wrong? Or like, don't worry, someone will just jump into the fact that it's a sad thing that you don't have children.
So basically just gets you unsolicited advice, unsolicited prayers, and pity. No, I hear you. So I was reading,
or even suspicion towards your character.
No, exactly.
Like they think you're a demon. Like, how come?
Like, how is it possible that you're a woman? Yeah. This whole motherhood have to be squishy. Those really caring people who want to run around with little human beings, and they grow inside us, and we hold our tummies, and like the
they
complete
rip us
package
apart when they're exiting and.
Yeah, but hey, motherhood is sacrifice, and I think it's one of the reasons why women are increasingly choosing a child-free life. Yeah. The truth is that some just don't want to suffer. Like, why is that not reason enough? Yeah. That you just don't want to suffer the ridiculous standards of motherhood and all that it entails. Like, why isn't that? Can you tell me why women cannot just be happy, choose to be happy, and that's end of story? Yeah. Why? Why do you think so? Like, why can't we just say, hey, I'm not having kids because I want to be free, I want to be happier, period? Like, why isn't that enough an answer?
Well, for our societies, I think all of us, or our society has this remnant of I think how the world began and how and the species survival, mode. And even though we are now living in better times, in fact the best of times, if I could say so, where we have a lot of options about life, where we are not bound by nature. A lot of people have failed to outgrow that their lizard brains, the lizard brain that used to look at like female species out there as a form of bringing life into the world, and their purpose is to reproduce so that 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 generation continues, back when maybe species were fewer, back when humans were fewer, a lot of people have failed to grow that kind of brain. So they still, and while men have been allowed to evolve even in their work, in the way they are in society, women somehow have been held into boxes even as time has changed. And one of the boxes that women have held into is the box of motherhood. Yes. It seems a lot of people can't shake the fact that a woman is here to carry a child and bring like children into the world. And so when a woman says they are choosing happiness, they are seen as anti-life. They're seen as anti-life. Like, you're a murderer, you go around, stabbing people just because you don't want to carry a child. They are seen as... They're even scary.
So the absence of a child is seen as a life destroyed, really.
Yeah, a life destroyed.
The potential of a life having existed in your womb has been destroyed, all because you want to be happy.
Yeah, all because you want to be happy. And then there is a way motherhood is seen as, there is something called, it's one of those famous feminist writers, I think, I'll not be quoted, I've kind of forgotten, but like in the 1950s, she wrote about the Madonna and the whore complex. The Madonna and the whore complex. So for the Madonna, you're either a virgin and a mother, or so in that way, so you are a holy and saintly, and to reach your divine status in society, or that pedestal, that is also another little limiting box. You've got to either bring life, and then everyone was like, Panange, don't kill her, she has children. Don't kill her,
she's a mother.
When they're looking at kids, when they're talking about kids, girls' education, they'll say, those are the mothers of tomorrow.
The mothers of tomorrow.
They can only look at you in that instance. Once you cease to be a virgin, you can only be like a mother. Motherhood is the path to your redemption and your status in society. Yes. Then there is the other opposite, which is the whole complex. So if you're not a nun living in some, I don't know, like nunnery in Tibet, that means you are a loose woman. You are what Baganda call nache yombekede, which was a negative thing. Like, you live on your own, therefore no one knows your attachment to men. And if you're attached to men, then you're either barren or you are a whore. You don't want to produce. So you fall into that binary. There's only that binary for women. And so the choice of what they call happiness is going to land, if it's not the happiness that society wants you to be happy with, like a giggling child with pooping and peeing on you, it is you are a whore. And no amount of your happiness is shunned. It's degenerative.
And I mean, what's crazy, and how that these traditional roles for women actually, so it's like women are supposed to find happiness in their duty. Of motherhood, right? Like why aren't you finding happiness in your duty to be a mother, right? Which is the only thing you should be as a grown woman. Recently, I think last year in 2019, we got a top psychologist who was presenting a paper on how researchers found that women who are unmarried and child-free, right, are happier than married women with children. Exactly. Every woman was like, duh. Even some mothers were like, duh. Did this need a whole research paper in 2019? How we already know this. How do we know? Because motherhood can be very challenging. I don't want to say depressing, but can be very, very challenging. But also depressing. And very depressing. That's true. Because one is going to say, like, where are the facts on ground about this? Now, I'm bringing another paper. So, there is another paper that, Princeton put out research on whether couples with children in 2014, couples with children and couples without children, which ones were happier, right? I think before 2014, the general consensus in the world of psychology and just like basically in that area of study was that child-free couples or childless couples were happier than couples with children. But this study by Princeton actually established that there wasn't a real difference in levels of happiness between couples with children and those without children. But it found that couples with children were likely to be having very high highs, but also very low lows.
Yeah.
So if you're happy when your child, your baby is giggling and all that stuff that you guys keep posting, you're going to experience a really like good high, right?
Yeah.
But if your child is terribly sick, or if you're stressed out at work, being a wife, but also being a mother, the lows hit really low.
Yeah.
But do tell me, if you had to choose between very high highs, very low lows, and just being highs and lows, what would you
Give
choose?
me a stability, like
Give you
something that is not, so drastic.
So drastic, yeah. So, what is it? We've said we've discussed a lot of things, but these ideas are not conventional, mostly for a reason, and we've discussed many of the reasons why. But let's look at the practicality of such decisions, right? You are a Black woman, you are an African woman, and say you're existing in one of the poorest.
Class. And I passed.
You're even middle class.
Lower class.
I fear saying I'm even lower middle class because I don't know what that means.
Let's go with lower class.
Let's go with lower class. Same. Well, lower class. So, lower class. Who is upper lower class? Oh, by the way, upper lower class. You could say that, right? Okay. Class politics
Very
aside,
depressing.
I know it's depressing to place yourself in a country where just something small like this would send you tumbling down to peasant.
Exactly.
We are peasants, actually. We are peasants with English and podcasts, guys. Okay. Anyways, so a woman like you, what is the practicality of living a child-free life? Socially speaking, what does a woman like you have to be cognizant about, and what would you think can be done to not overcome, because I don't think we can overcome a society that is punishing a child-free woman, but how do you just, my God, live in such a society and live to see another day, right? And then secondly, finances in old age. Most of countries like ours do not have efficient or reliable government programs for the elderly. So if you're not having a kid that is taking care of you after retirement, darling, you are in deep trouble. Yes, I say deep trouble. That's all I say. So, do tell me the practicality of such a decision for a woman like you, because most of our audience, I think, is going to be that.
When you say that assisted suicide around 50 seems like a very good idea that we should maybe push for, because who wants to, make a bet in this kind of society? Well, first of all, socially, it depends, it depends on what kind of, a person you are. I would say that relationships that are not by blood are also valid. Like that were not made by blood are very much valid, and you can invest in them and they can be equally rewarding. For instance, friends, lovers,
everyone who is having issues, which is like half of the issues that on Weird Confessions with their lovers, is looking at you like, did you say we can depend on lovers?
No, I mean, then if lovers fail, then friends, I guess you can. But I've been seeing technology coming up. Have you watched the movie Her? Like where they are?
I love Her. Her is one of my favorite movies of all time. Oh my God, I loved it. What's wrong with it?
No, I was just saying that we could go with like digital companions.
Thank you.
Socially, I mean, I think we are getting there, and it's okay. So, and then there is that socially. Then financially, of course, it still depends. I mean, if you want to live each day as it comes, do as you will. But of course, you have to know that if you plan on living long. You see,
that is also a choice that has
if
to
you
be
plan on living long, or if you suspect that you might live long, maybe a part of, since you have taken on self-care to the level that you've decided to live child-free in a society, we might want to invest in the future, like maybe take your pension scheme seriously, get some assets if you can. Now I'm starting to think about. I was thinking about like a woman down there in the village without an education and everything, but you can have land.
No, but those women save. Like they actually do save. They have many of these women. Their small businesses depend a lot on a saving culture. like on a good saving culture.
Anyway,
but
so,
guess what? So today, just sorry, just to pause you a little. Today, I saw that I don't know if it was New Vision, but they had an article where I think I don't know. Ugandan, is it bankers, were saying that Ugandans have a very poor savings culture. I mean, we all know that, you know how we know? Because when who of you here saved? Like, I'm very poor at saving.
Yeah.
You must know you're poor at saving. Yeah. So we all know, because when you check yourself, they're talking about me. So probably you're talking about everyone else.
Do so much better.
I know, we could all do so much better. But so basically, if you're going to lead a child-free life, perhaps you could do better at saving.
Yeah, you could do better at saving. Yeah, because your insurance plan for a child and your pension scheme, who is a human being, is not going to be in your life. And
what about if I was taking care of my brother's kids? You know how when you don't have kids, people now tend to think that your money should be taking care of their
They're
kids.
Like, Talina na mwana.
What about those nieces? Don't take care of us.
If I choose, like, I've thought about that, but if I choose to live a child-free life, it's because I do not want to burden myself, and also I don't want to be a burden to another person. So I don't want to be a burden to my nieces, because I know for sure, I think my siblings will have kids, and anyway, I don't know. But I don't want to depend on human beings.
Care of them.
I want to put some faith in institutions, like financial institutions, and say invest, like have assets, have investments, have insurance plans, have even like a burial plan if you must. Like,
I'm telling you,
like I don't know, you just need to be prudent about these things and practical. And I think for most of us, I was reading about what's his name, the famous atheist who we love so much, the one who died, Hitchens. He was like, for something
like there are four that we love,
but he said that for something that happens so regularly to human beings, it's like death. It's so funny that we live our lives like it doesn't exist,
like it
or
doesn't,
we refuse to think about it, but it's practical. So for me, I would put my savings into these kinds of things. To live a better life, of course, alone. And then
but when also, if you've not been spending on kids, surely you have more money to put aside also, we think.
Do you though? Because now, if I've chosen a child-free life, am I likely to be less ambitious? Do you think? It is very okay. It depends on, anyway. Some women choose a child-free life because of their career,
their ambition, exactly.
Like they just want to climb up the ladders without maternity leave and like crying babies on their ankles.
Holding on to your skirt as you try to get into the boardroom.
I know. And society judging you for being an absent mother, and your child growing up to hate you for being an absent, cold-hearted mother.
Your child will grow up to post really dark memes.
I know.
The dark meme lord.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But so what were you saying? So you can be ambitious.
Yeah.
And even if you're not ambitious, I think just be prudent. And a lot of people, I think, who sit down, actually respect. I don't know why society doesn't respect people who choose and say, I do not want to have children. I have decided this. That is someone I respect, because most of these things are just bandwagon effects for a lot of people. Like, they are just going into marriage and children without thinking about consequences. But
so we should.
I think that people who choose child-free lives are likely to be prudent. So I would trust that they would do that.
I mean, I trust them better. I really, really do. That's no fault of people who choose to have children. People, thank you so much, Mubezi. Thank you so much. I think that we've had a really, really interesting and fun conversation. If you liked this, please don't forget to rate us on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Weird Confessions Uganda. And please WhatsApp us on this number right here on the screen. Send us a voice note or any messages concerning this topic. We'll be really, really happy to hear from you. So again, see you next time.
And continue confessing.